but it sucked. It sucked.
Mhm.
I thought I was
Mhm.
okay because I was still in this space and I felt like I had all this support and they were amazing. I came back from that
Mhm.
event and I was like, "I'm okay. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay."
Mhm.
Until I wasn't.
Hi, friends! Welcome to the Infertility Club. I am super excited about today's special guest, Victoria Duncker. Hi, Victoria! Oh, thank you so much for being here.
You for having me. Thank you. I'm part of the club now with and
Oh.
yeah, no, but it's a special group, and I'm so glad that you have this podcast. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you. I know it's like a club that so many of us thought we would never be part of. And, it's interesting when I was like trying to come up with names for it, I was like, the Infertility Club. Like, do I like it or do I not? And I was like, you know what? It's a badge of honor. Like, I feel like it's a journey, an adventure, and I'm going to be proud of it. And so,
Yeah.
you know, then came the Infertility Club.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's a good name. No one it's not something you don't know you're in it until you are, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, totally, totally. Oh, well, thank you so, so much, and I was cracking up, I was looking over your Instagram, and I found that you love pistachio ice cream.
I do.
I do too. I do too. I was super excited because that's not super common that people love pistachio ice cream.
What's wrong with all of these other people?
Right? It's so good, it's so good.
I love pistachio ice cream. It's just so yummy. Yes.
I Oh my gosh, I love it, it's so cute.
I forgot that
Oh.
on there. I was like, "Oh," I'm like, "Oh, yes, I do."
Oh, well, let's go ahead and dive right in and tell us a little bit about your fertility journey. What's that looked like for you?
Well, I, started I really didn't try having children actively until my 40s. I met my now husband, in 2019,
Mhm.
and we were both over 40. He had 2 children from a previous marriage that were
Mhm.
20s, early 20s, and I thought he would never start over, you know, with your
Yeah,
own book,
yeah, yeah.
you know? And, up until that point, literally my 40th birthday, I remember saying, "Okay, this is what it's gonna be. Don't see anybody in sight that's going to,"
Mhm.
and what's funny, I had been married before, I was engaged again, I had other relationships, but no kids came out of them. We weren't trying, we always at that point, we were like, "We're not ready, let's get these things in place first." So, I was never in a place of trying with any of those relationships. So, I met my husband at 40, yeah, 40. That 40th year prior to meeting him, I remember saying, "Okay, this is it. I
Mhm.
don't see that happening for me. I need to find happiness with that and really let that settle in, and I'm
Yeah.
just gonna be master auntie because I just don't," and I thought about doing it on my own, and
Mhm.
I hadn't known anybody yet, I wasn't in
Mhm.
this space, and I think that's what makes things possible, the impossible possible, which is why
Yeah.
podcasts like this exist so that it's not too far-fetched an idea that you may have. It's like when you meet other people, you're like, "Oh, that's one way to do it." But I hadn't
Mhm.
really had that. I come from a traditional two-parent home. The idea of doing it myself just felt like, for me, just like a last, you know, throw to try to get there, and I guess I wasn't really willing yet to take that as my actual new normal of, like, no one. I didn't wanna give up on love, and I just thought, "You know what? If real love comes into my life and I can try, maybe then, but right now, let's get comfortable with really dating yourself, like, get to
Yeah.
know me." So I did that, and then
Beautiful.
on the goal, I took, like, a year and a half of just, like, me. I took myself on dates, and then I met my husband, and then boom, 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 we we had,
Oh,
like, 1 chemical pregnancy, that we lost,
okay.
um, and I had PCOS. I knew that I had PCOS, since 2011, so I had always felt like whoever would come into my life, I'd have to let them know it's not impossible, it's there's a factor here that might make it a little difficult, but who knows, you know? So when we met, I told him that, and but then I said, "But I'm at peace with not having, children." I think, you have 2 older ones?" And he's like, "Why? You'd be such a great mom." And I thought, "Oh,
Oh.
okay." So when we tried and we did a lot of trying, we're in our honeymoon phase, kind of we haven't gotten married, but we're just like, we really just were, just so happy to have found that type of profound, love that we were trying. And
Yeah.
then we after the chemical pregnancy, we tried we were I mean, we were just enjoying, and then I think maybe 3.5 weeks after the chemical pregnancy ended, we found out we were
Mhm.
pregnant again, and
Oh, wow.
which is our child now. So, he's
Oh.
5. And then afterwards, I think around when she was maybe 15 or 16 months, we were pregnant
Mhm.
again with the twins. I
Wow.
don't know if you read my story, but I had
Yeah.
pregnancy and then lost them separately. So,
Whew.
so that was heavy, and then, 15 days later, I lost my mother as well, so it was just a really crazy time, and then,
Yeah.
um, after that, we got pregnant a couple more times that also resulted in miscarriage. We did 2 rounds of IVF, not, the embryos were not viable. We did our, uh I'm forgetting all the words right now, sorry, excuse me. We did, more testing, like, we
Mhm.
opted for, extra testing, and they weren't viable. Had a
Mm.
lot of chromosomal, im
Mhm.
imbalances and stuff. So
Okay.
and then we just decided, this is it, to just hang it up. We had maybe, another round that we were, approaching, and I was 45, and if people don't know, insurance companies, sometimes they get a little nervous about covering IVF for a 45-year-old with their own eggs, and sometimes they require you to use a egg donor, so you have to
Oh,
really look at
really?
insurance, yeah, because there are some insurances that will not cover a 45-year-old with their own eggs.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I was just approaching that limit, and I thought, "Oh, okay,
Mhm.
maybe one more time," but my husband really just wasn't on board, he was worried about my health, also, we
Mm.
have this great kid and really was
Yeah.
trying to champion me into, that place of satisfaction with
Mhm.
mm,
Yeah.
it's been rough. We've had other pregnancies since then too that just were accidental.
Really?
Yeah, so, I mean, in total, I think I've had 6 or 7 miscarriages.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
That there's
sorry.
kind of peace. Thank you. I'd love to it doesn't necessarily get easier there, but there is kind of, you don't have that "what is happening to me" anymore. I think that I mean,
Okay.
sad
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It
yeah,
kind of
totally, like, how has this become the norm?
the
Yeah.
norm that I know what that feeling feels like, when you start
Mhm.
feeling the hormones and that you're like, okay, you get those feelings, you're like, "I'm pregnant." Okay. Test says, "Yes, positive." And then you start
Mhm.
feeling that tingling feeling all over of, like, the hormones just kind of leaving your body, and it's like, you know what that
Oh.
feels like, and it's heartbreaking, but there is this kind of like, "Okay, well, I've been here before, so I know what's happening."
Mhm. Yeah, 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 that does. Oh, that
Or
is hard. Oh, man. So, going through miscarriage after miscarriage, I mean, that's tough, like, what's gotten you through those hard times?
Honestly, like, one part is the knowledge of, like, I've gotten through it before, so I know that I'll get through it again, that you have the threshold of grief.
Mhm,
But,
yeah, yeah.
again, no one asks to be part of this club, right?
Mhm,
No one
yeah.
asks to have that type of
Mhm.
knowledge base
Yeah,
to pick
yeah.
yourself up through the next one, but it's just, it's in your toolkit.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think, it's a choice too to not
Mhm.
be fully broken. It's
Yeah.
meaning the choice is I need recognizing that you're broken or you're at that really depressed or sad place and
Mhm.
asking for help. That's what I mean by choice. You don't have a choice in how, if however
That it's
your reaction
happening.
to that is
Mhm.
you're absolutely valid in however that comes out for you. But
Mhm.
there is a space to, I think where the responsibility for yourself to acknowledge where you are and what you're feeling.
Yeah.
If it's something that you know that cannot help you function,
Mhm.
start saying, "I need help. I'm not okay."
Yeah.
Um, I've had moments like that,
Mhm.
and I've had moments of where I'm okay. It's
Yeah.
been it's been a function very
Yeah.
funky kinda situation with that many,
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, for
um,
sure.
you
Yeah.
know? I think what's been the toughest is, like, I think it's the times of when some of them occurred, like, there was one that was, it felt like triumph after, like, the 2 rounds of IVF failing, and then it was like, "Boom, see? My body could do it on its own. I look, we" and then I think we got to, like, round 7 or week 7 or so, and
Mhm.
it was just before Christmas, and we were going to be traveling to
Oh.
like, family, my husband's family in Miami,
Mhm.
and we were thinking, "We've got news to share with them."
Totally.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, like,
"Ooh,
so
well,
excited.
yeah," and I had just, like I don't know why, it just felt this one was more I wasn't quite showing, but my body was like, my pants weren't fitting so great, at the
Yeah.
time. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking of what do I pack so I don't wear something too snug that will
Mm.
ask that'll make someone go, "Wait a minute, are you?"
So,
So I was
yeah.
just trying to figure out, loose things, and then literally maybe 3 days before the trip, we lost that pregnancy. And now what from my worry went from
Oh.
how to keep this quiet to
Mhm.
now I'm going to be probably showing. And I'm
Mm.
going to have to answer the question, "Are you?" And I have to say no.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, that was tough. And, it's like you're trying to be in the holiday spirit, but you just can't help but think, like,
Mhm.
this is not how I thought our Christmas was, going to go. I thought we had,
Yeah.
good news, and now it was just, like, no news.
Mhm.
That was difficult.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think that's the thing totally that's just so tough is it's like life keeps going. The holidays they're there and there's just all of these reminders and feelings and things that come up with holidays and just working through all of that is tough. It's hard. I'm sorry you
Yeah.
had to experience that. It's not
Well, I'm sorry
fun.
for all of our experiences. I'm sorry for all of our
Oh.
experiences, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is tough. So, how did you and your husband work through that? Were you able to bond together through it, or how was that for you guys?
We handle these things much differently. So for him, it's more of a matter of, um, I think we just are very different when it comes to spirituality and he's like the math science guy and
Mhm.
I do sound baths and and
Yes, I love it. Yes.
I'm like, I'm gonna write letters to the spirit to welcome it into my and
Yes.
he's, let me know when we make it to 14 weeks is where I think he starts to really go, okay, it's viable. So from a scientific point of view, and
Mhm.
his view on it, he's like, it's just your body. It just sounds like your body did what it needed to do,
Mhm.
you that this wasn't going to be viable. And that's your body's way of cleansing and letting that go, so to make space for something new another time or just not meant to be. Wow,
Mhm.
for me, it's always different though for the person and there are people who are pregnant that can have that same view for their own bodies and their own pregnancy.
Mhm.
But, for me, it was just more difficult because I'm the one who's going through the changes of what
Mhm.
I'm feeling and, like,
Yeah.
and it was very hard for me. I think what was hard was I think the first pregnancy that we had post IVF was in fact was one
That's
of
okay.
no, can we laugh about that? Past
Oh
life?
my gosh. Yes, yes, it does. It all becomes a blur.
I'm like, um but there was one where I thought, "You know what? I maybe I can join him on this
Mm.
perspective. I'll
Mhm.
wait, I'll eat well, I'll take my prenatals, I'll take everything, but I'm just gonna"
Mhm.
and I just couldn't commit to that. I could not separate it myself from
Mhm.
it 'cause I
Yeah.
I tried hard, but it was just like, "Oh, I know, but I'm feeling changes, I'm feeling hormones." So
Mhm.
I was speaking to, I guess the only way to describe her is like my spiritual mentor, shout out
Mhm.
to Nicole Casanova, she's amazing. Um,
Oh.
and she, she said to me, how does someone feel welcomed into your body if you're disconnecting that way?
Mm.
'Cause whatever amount of time this spirit is with you, it's there
Mhm.
for a reason for that time.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna pray over you and know and hope that this spirit is here with you to stay, for you to actually meet in person. But they're
Oh,
trying to meet
beautiful.
you, and maybe there's a lesson or something that you're supposed to learn, and they can't do that if you're so separated from them. So
Yeah.
why don't you try to write a letter? So I did, and
Oh.
she had me write a letter and say, "I'm so thankful you chose me. I don't know how much
Oh.
time we have together, but I'm gonna make sure that I'm the best vessel for the time that you spend with me, and I hope I get to meet you in the physical form." And I just wrote this, beautiful letter, and it was so hard, in the beginning, I'm like, oh, once you put it in paper, it's real. It's real now, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to prepare myself for it not being here, and now I'm writing this
Mhm.
letter." Like, but
Oh.
halfway through, I was just like, "Okay, yeah, like, how does someone feel welcomed into your home?" Like, if you're like,
Mhm.
"Refrigerator's over there."
Yeah.
Come join me. Yeah, I'll be here. I was like, "Yeah, I know you're here, but you're not really here. I'm just gonna do my business and you do your" it doesn't
Aw.
really work that way. So, I did, and I just started writing letters.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, it was a beautiful way that helped me, but it was
Mhm.
that first time because I was able to practice that letter writing probably 2 more
Mhm.
times for the
Okay.
time that she introduced that to me, but
Mhm.
that was hard. I think what was hard was now the goodbye letter, like the thank you letter
Mm.
was
Yeah.
like, so
Yeah.
I see that our time was not meant to be in the physical form, but thank you so much for the time. You helped me it was hard to but it helped me believe that maybe I could do this again. I had a
Mhm.
lot of appreciation, newfound appreciation for my daughter too.
Oh.
Um, it made me that time even more precious to kinda go,
Mhm.
"Okay," and I think that was around the time I started to kinda, like, less episodes to kept popping in because I felt like rather than rush and just put something out there, let me
Mhm.
my listeners would also respect that I took that time
Yeah.
and talked about
Yeah.
it in a very authentic space.
Totally.
But then the other times, I have to say the letter writing, it's tough. I do recommend it though.
Mhm.
Um, the other times became a little bit easier
Mhm.
because of the letter, because I could really see it as, "Hey, welcome. Thanks for choosing me for this time. What do I have to learn
Yeah.
today? What do I have to
Yeah.
do in this time period?" And
Totally.
the other thing that she said too was that, they're not fully away even later. So whether they're watching over their sister, their big sister from she's got
Yeah.
energies,
Yeah.
they're just like they're still Part
Mhm. For sure. Oh, I think that's so beautiful. I love that. And there really is so much power in writing. And I feel like it's such a great way to, like you said, communicate with, someone that's potentially coming and that thought. And I had written letters to our future kids, and I felt like doing that was something that really gave me hope through it. And it's like you can write the ups and the downs and part of the, adventure through it. And, there's things that are hard to look back and read and things that are happy to look back at. And, but it's a great writing to be able to have and it's special. It's so beautiful you did that.
Yeah, and I'm see it that you did that too, right? And you
Mhm.
writing letters to your yeah, because I mean, how great to have those if your family does manifest in that way, they say, "Look how much I really wanted you," but, also
Mhm.
for you and your to honor where your heart was at that time later on,
Yeah.
if it doesn't happen,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
just a capsule, a really important capsule in your time, in your lifetime that it's painful, it's not gonna be easy, but that
Mhm.
it's not easy because of how much you love and how much love you
Yes.
have, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. It is because it's like it's all that love and our heart and soul put into it, and yeah. Oh, that's just beautiful. I love that. I love your perspective on everything, and I feel like you are just really aware and in tune, and that's just really beautiful to see.
But it's the stories of the other women too that I've met along the journey, and that's why your podcast is great and it's gonna serve its purpose in that way, is that it just gives you so many perspectives on this crazy, uh,
Mhm.
beautiful, hard road to parenthood and to motherhood.
Yeah.
It's not simple for everybody, you know? There's a
Yeah.
new appreciation I think we all have on this side of the fence, right? For those
Yeah.
like, "Oh, just okay, 5? Okay, great. You're 5.
Yeah.
So it's okay, just no problems, everything okay, great, great."
Mhm.
Is that intersection, right, of, like, you're happy for other people's joy, but that
Mhm.
doesn't take away from your pain. You have
Yeah.
the absolute right to feel that twinge of like, "Oh,
Mhm.
why not
Yeah.
me?" But along the way of interviewing people, I started to find people who were very honest about that, but then they were
Mhm.
determined to, find a space where they could say goodbye to their traditional picture in their head
Mm.
of what it was
Mhm.
going to be like to become a mother and said,
Yeah.
"What's my goal, though?" For me, my particular
Mhm.
and they'd say, "My particular goal is to be a mother, and I
Mhm.
have a lot of love to give to a child."
Mhm.
And for it takes a lot of my hat goes d I take my hat off for those who say, "Yes, I wanted that child to share my DNA,
Mhm.
to have my dimple that's been
Mhm.
passed down from mom to mom and my grandmother to me, and give up on looking for that dimple, to say,
Mhm.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
an egg donor, I'm gonna adopt, I'm
Mhm.
gonna do surrogacy," like,
Yeah.
that's because at least your DNA, but to look at different ways, pathways, how to arrive there. That's who I have
Totally.
respect for, because that's hard.
Oh, for sure. It is, and but that's the exciting part too, is there's so many ways for it to happen, and I actually kinda think I grew up in a really awesome situation, for me, not for everything that happened, but it's interesting, I have 4 older sisters, and I saw sisters adopt, sister do foster care, I saw sisters get pregnant right away, and so it was just interesting being able to see that and be like, "Oh, okay, there's lots of ways for this to do that." But I think you touched on a really big topic of a lot of times we have in our head a path that we think it has to go this way or this is how it works or, those ideas that we have in our head and just being open to letting a lot of that go.
Because even now, I think about like, "Oh, I would love to have more kids," but I'm like, "Oh, I just don't know if it's in the cards." Like, I hope and want that, but it's like, I having to let go all of those scenarios of what
Mhm.
I wanted to what might be reality.
Yeah, it's a grieving process. It really is.
Yeah.
And then, then you have people who are like, just be really happy with what you have. Be blessed that you have.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I know people mean well when they say that. They really do.
Mhm.
And they're not wrong. But that doesn't
Mhm.
take away your right to grieve, to really like,
Yeah.
so I think,
Mhm.
my advice to people who could be watching this that are not dealing with infertility, but they're friends of people who are, is
Mhm.
just let them show up
Mm.
in whatever skin they're in for in that moment, because you just don't
Mhm.
be careful with those words. Just like, you could say, let's what are you is there anything that you're grateful for right now? Like,
Mm.
how can
Yeah.
is different, because then that's a different thing than saying you should be,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's the,
Yeah.
or getting them a gratitude journal is different
Mhm.
than saying you should come on, I mean, you have look at your perfect, it's like, yeah, but
Mhm.
my dream, that's not how what I envisioned. It's different, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you does infertility run in your, because you mentioned you have other sisters. Do you talk?
Yeah, so out of 4 so there's 5 of us all together. So my oldest sister, they uh, that was a issue for them, and then my next sister as well. But it's interesting, it was a little bit different for everyone. Like, my oldest sister, they never were able to get pregnant. My next sister, she was able to get pregnant, but carrying the baby was the
Mm,
difficult part. And then my next sister, her husband just looks at her and she pops one out. And then my next sister, it was it took her about a year or 2 to get pregnant, but then had great pregnancies after. And then me, I had never gotten pregnant ever. And then, we did IVF, and that was the magic for us.
wow, and you all have the same mom, right?
Same mom and dad.
And
Mhm.
your mom obviously did not have, or did she go
Yeah,
through
she
assisted
have,
reproductive
mm-mm,
technology? No, just
no,
how isn't
mm-mm.
that interesting?
Yeah, it
That's
totally is.
that's an adjustment too, right? Because
Yeah.
you see your mom, you see 5 of
Mhm,
you, and you're like, "Oh, we
mhm.
don't have any problems.
Right? We're
We're
all girls,
good.
we got this.
We got this mom." Like, if anything, we're gonna have to say, "Hey, cut it down." Like, we just want to.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you find yourself there. Yeah.
Totally,
Wow.
totally. Yeah, yeah, so I know there's always so many of emotions and, like, roller coasters of things that come with, the whole infertility, but I love your perspective of just thinking of, like, "What can I learn from this? What can I be grateful for? What can I look at these positive things?" Because I feel like that's a lot of times, like, what can pull us through a lot of those hard moments.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not, I promise you, sometimes there is no lesson, there is no
Oh my
there
gosh, right?
there's a time where it just sucks. It just
Yes.
hurts. It is unfair. I think, ugh, this last pregnancy, or maybe the one before, yeah, it was around April of 2024.
Mhm,
I remember everything was going right. I mean, I was lighting candles, all this kinda stuff, like, "This is the time. I think I wanna I'm welcome, I'm open for you. Come find."
mhm.
And it was
Yeah.
like, there I was, pregnant again. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it worked, huh?" And then
Oh.
I was going here and there and being on maternal health platforms, and I thought, "Wow, I'll keep it to myself just yet." I wasn't announcing on
Mhm,
these panels that I was pregnant, but, it was like a good combination of, like, spiritually, also my platform, everything was going
mhm,
really well. I'm like, "Oh my goodness, look, everything's happening." I
mhm.
was blossoming in every
Yeah,
category,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then I traveled out for this baby shower for Kelly Stewart. You don't know her story. She's a Black maternal health advocate too, and very much for, cryopreservation, and she was
Oh,
having this
neat.
a great egg shower, partnership that she did with, Evite to where you can actually throw yourself everyone's throwing baby showers, throw yourself an egg shower for your IVF party, like, and see if
Cute.
yeah, friends can donate, for your future babies, because it's an expensive
Yeah.
process, so let's have an egg shower. So I went out there to
Mhm.
celebrate her on California, I live on the East Coast, and literally maybe 2, 3 days before getting there is when I started miscarrying. I didn't
Oh.
even know if I could make it to the trip, and I get there,
Oh.
safe place to share, but the community was just so great and so
Oh.
uplifting, but it sucked. It sucked.
Mhm.
I thought I was
Mhm.
okay because I was still in this space and I felt like I had all this support and they were amazing. I came back from that
Mhm.
event and I was like, "I'm okay. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay."
Mhm.
Until I wasn't. Until I so, even for those of us in the space, creating space
Mhm.
for other people. So,
Mhm.
yeah, there are times where you can find the lesson and
Yeah.
that gratefulness just feels, like, profound, and you're like, "Okay,
Mhm.
that's okay for now. I'm gonna pick myself up, and we'll try again." But there are the days too where you're like, "I'm not." Oh, what I was gonna say was
Yeah.
that I think I had 4 friends, no lie, that were all on their 2nd kids. They all
Oh.
so I thought,
Mhm.
"Oh, good, I'm part of this club again," right?
Yeah, I'm so excited, yeah.
I feel good, I'm part of this other club, and it was like and these are good friends, 4 of them working on things under
Mhm.
you, and I'm like,
Mhm.
"Okay." And then it wasn't and one by one, I saw their babies being born while my daughter was still
Wow.
asking, Where's her sibling? Where's my brother and sister? Can we go buy one?"
Oh,
Yeah, she
totally.
go to the shop to go get it, and she's like, "This Coda has another sibling, Sahali has another and I'm like, I know, I'm working on it,
Mhm.
but don't hold your breath," Um,
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
that's hard.
Mhm.
She
Oh, that
finally
totally is.
so it seems like she's gotten to the point where somebody gifted her and I was totally okay with this, no shade to this person, but one of these really realistic looking dolls,
Uh-huh.
they're like $500.
Oh,
The only gift.
that's so great.
It looks like a infant.
Oh
Yeah.
my
I was like,
gosh.
"Oh, good." She's been asking me. She's making Princess Peach her stuffy, her little sister at the table. I'm giving fake food. I'm like, "Oh, well, maybe she'll like this doll." She held it, looked at it, and she was like, "You could take it back."
She's like, "I'm good." That's so great.
I'm good. And I was like, "Huh." And I haven't heard a single word about where's my brother and sister coming. She's like, "Well, I'm good by myself."
Oh, that is so great.
That was me, 'cause I think she looked down, she's like, "I can't play with it. It doesn't talk. It doesn't do anything."
Right? Totally. Because a kid always thinks like, "Oh, I want someone to play with me," and so they think that that baby's gonna be able to do all of those things right away.
She's like, she has not touched that thing. It's just like
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
so,
I
yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. I tried getting my girls dolls, and they like their stuffed animals.
Yeah, and she just became like a stuffy person, like, we'd put them in her crib and whatever, and she'd, like, throw them out, like, I don't know.
Oh.
Which is why I thought she was always going to just be really content as an only child, even though she has
Yeah,
other siblings, but she
yeah.
just was into dolls, she was into stuffies, anything. She wasn't even into being covered, really, so she didn't want
Uh-huh.
nothing around her. So, when the words started coming, when she started looking at other people and "You only child, you wanna play with somebody." When the question started being, asked more frequently,
Mhm.
"Oh, it's a thing now," and she likes stuff now.
Oh. Oh. Oh my gosh, that's so great. Oh, when you were looking for a fertility doctor, what was that process like for you?
I did my research, and because at the
Mhm.
time, I had already started the podcast, so
Okay.
I really
Yeah, tell
wanted.
everyone about your podcast too. I want everyone to know about it because it's amazing.
Thank you. It's called New Mommy at 40. I just wanted to create a space for those who are navigating to or through parenthood in their 40s and motherhood in their 40s. And so we interviewed a lot of people just so that you could hear their stories of how they arrived to their motherhood journey.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean, all kinds, egg donor, sperm donor, same-sex couple, and having to, like, literally go to through an insurance process by themselves just because they weren't covered as a
Wow.
couple. It's crazy,
Oh,
you know?
wow.
Just different ways to arrive. And then we also
Mhm.
had some seasons where subject matter experts of things that affect, infertility, or fertility, different,
Mhm.
uh just different types of, subject matter experts. So, when I went through my own IVF process, I knew to interview and not just select the first person that you see.
Mhm.
It was gonna
Yeah.
be really important for me to have a good rapport with the actual doctor because
Mhm.
that is the person who is going to think outside the box when, I don't know if we can curse, but when stuff hits
Yeah, you
the
took it.
fan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
when sh yeah, when shit hits the fan. You want someone to go, "Okay, that round didn't go so well. This is
Mhm.
what we can tweak. Let's do
Mhm.
another round of testing. Let's get," because maybe what went wrong? Did we overstimulate your eggs? Did we understimulate? How many follicles we So, I did that. Ironically, I did an episode just on this because what I didn't realize is that though you deal with the doctor, their staff is who you see more frequently and deal with more frequently. So
Yeah.
I lost an opportunity to do a round again because the staff didn't relay the message to my doctor that I wanted to try again. So I lost the cycle.
Oh. Oh,
And
no.
they were, why while I loved my doctor, the process of
Mhm.
finding out the status of the eggs that were fertilized took way longer than the time promised, that
Mm.
I was dying inside, like,
Yeah.
"No,
Yeah.
no, where are we? What's happening? What's happening?" And she
Mhm.
thought that they had told me. I put in a call, like, "They should have known Friday," and I was like, "It's next Thursday." Like, I had to wait a whole extra week.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you waited that long.
No,
Oh,
I was
that's
calm.
hard.
I was
Yeah.
calm. It was so, if you notice
Oh.
if you notice that the staff and there were signs, but because of her
Mm.
good bedside manner, I just kind of was
Mhm.
like, "Well, at least I like her," so but
Mhm.
it's not like going to the dentist, right? And, like, the reception
Totally.
is not cool.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all of it, 'cause that the messages get relayed to the doctor.
Mhm.
So, if you start to see,
Totally.
like, signs of incompetency, you might want to have the conversation with your doctor early and say, "Hey, I've left you a couple messages through whatever, and I don't know if you're getting them. Let's figure it out." It needs to happen to just maybe look at another practice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's super smart. It is crazy how busy fertility clinics are. Like, every time I've called our clinic, it always goes to voicemail. I can never get a hold of someone, and I literally have to call 3 to 4 times to get a hold of anyone. Like, it is just a process, and I know it's just clinics are so, so busy, and I think that's really good advice of, like, just asking the doctor too and be like, "Hey, are you getting this?" Because I think that's really important, like, that's such a bummer that a cycle was missed because messages not getting relayed, and that's a bummer, so, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you definitely have to, be a advocate big time in this realm.
Big time for yourself. Yeah, you have to, and that adds I have to tell you, it does add some level of anxiety, especially when you're already
Mhm.
on all these, like,
Yeah,
hormones.
yeah, yeah,
It's tough.
totally,
It's tough. So your village
totally.
around you has to really kinda hold you down because it's like, "Come on, like, I wanna know, where are we?" There's normal anxiety, and then there's always also, like, when any of these missteps happen, they just add
Mhm.
another level, so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Because it's like, when I think about it, I'm like, the fertility clinics, like, they have so many patients, and it's like, they're really trying, but things can just get slipped and missed through the cracks, and so it's like, you have to, like, be your own advocate and jump in, but it's hard because, like, half the time, I didn't know what I should be advocating for yet until something didn't happen, and then I'm like, "Oh, wait," and then it's like you're starting to put the puzzle pieces together, and yeah, it can be
Mhm.
well, a process.
Yeah, it's a learning process of what do you need to where do I need to focus the most when it comes to self-advocacy.
Mhm.
Financially too, like working with the financial advisor at the clinic to
Mm,
really
mhm,
understand the breakdown of what you're paying for, what you're not paying for. One of
mhm,
my biggest actually tips is you don't always have to go with the pharmacy that the clinic uses for to get your medication. That's another one too that I found. They're ask, "Is there are there other pharmacies that also offer the same medication?" A lot of times
mhm.
they'll say, "Well, yeah, we don't use them ourselves. You'd have to see if your insurance covers them," and sometimes your insurance does, and they're actually cheaper.
Oh, that's huge. That would be a big deal.
Yeah, because when I went through the normal, it's like a big chain. I won't mention their name. It's a huge chain that this particular hospital or clinic used.
Mhm,
It was a really tough time trying to get things approved and time whatever, and then the second round, I asked, "Is there any other, like, pharmacy?"
mhm.
And there was, and it was, like, somewhere in another state that was, like, like, not a big chain, but
Yeah,
they had
yeah.
the medications and it wasn't as expensive.
Wow. That's pretty awesome, and I'm sure everyone involved appreciated getting a better deal on that.
Yeah, yeah, it seems I mean, everything adds up.
Oh, yeah, it does, and, yeah, it's interesting, all those just little blood draws and even just, like, doing the urine samples and things, it's just they just start to add up on the bill.
Mhm. Everything. You're adding everything.
Yeah.
You're like,
And
"Whoa."
and then my shopping after, where I'm like, "Gotta recover, and online shopping."
It's so much. It's so much. Yeah. Everything adds up. So if you can if you can figure out a way to get the cost of your medication and your all that stuff like just a little cheaper, your pocket will thank you.
Yeah, totally, totally. It really will. Oh, Victoria, you're amazing. You've given so many amazing tidbits and nuggets along the way. Is there any additional advice or words of wisdom you would have for anyone going or in the thick of it right now?
Ugh. Just to have grace for yourself. This is
Mm,
not easy, and it's one of those situations no one really understands unless they've been there, and that's what's hard is when we look to the left and the right, to our left and right in our villages, our tribes, uh,
mhm,
there might not be people who have gone through what you've gone through or are willing to
mhm,
share. There are people who keep this very quiet, and if you choose to
mhm,
do that too, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. You
mhm,
don't have to be on a platform like Kelsey and I and going,
mhm.
announcing to the world that you're going through this, but
Mhm,
at least look at us who are putting our stories out there so that you can not feel alone
mhm.
and really get the resources that you need so that you can be
Yeah,
okay for
yeah,
wherever the rest of your journey takes you. That's what I would
yeah.
say.
That's beautiful. I love that. When you were going through everything, did you share with anyone along the way, or some you shared, some you didn't, or how was that for you?
There were some where I didn't share the where because there was one time where one of my closest friends just announced that she was pregnant, and
Mm,
I just felt like I just can't. I don't want to worry her and tell her that I just
mhm,
lost, a pregnancy. And
mhm.
so I waited a little bit, and at that time, I think she was like, "I could have handled that. I would have wanted to be a friend for you."
Oh.
So you never know. Someone like I robbed her of the opportunity of being there for me, but at the
Mhm,
same time, I don't think she was upset.
mhm,
You
yeah.
understand because, and I at that time I just felt it was best. I needed that time, and then otherwise
Mhm.
I've had this platform where I've shared with people like, "Hey, this is what happened."
Mhm.
No, there's
Mhm.
no right or wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, there really isn't. Yeah, it's that's a interesting thing. It is so different for everyone, and everyone's dynamics and situations can be different, and, like I grew up with a dad who was sick my whole life, and he it was interesting when he passed away, everyone was like, "Your dad was sick?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's been sick since I was 4," but no one knew because he was just a very private man and never shared anything, and because he just didn't, he just felt the financial burdens of, caring for a family and stuff, and so for him, he just didn't want anyone to know that he was sick. And so it's like sharing those personal things about our lives for it can be different for everyone, and so, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
My
like,
my husband is that guy, is that person. If something
"Mm,
happened, he
mhm,
probably would never say because he's been raised to, like, you don't wanna be a burden onto other people. But
mhm,
I think there and that's one kind of strength, and I'm not gonna judge that, that's what works for
mhm."
them. But
Yeah.
there's also, a lot of strength and vulnerability too, if you choose that way, and you actually will get support. Hopefully, by doing so, you'll find, "Oh, me too." So
Mhm.
there's no right or wrong, you gotta really know thyself, uh,
Totally. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what's right for you.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, and that's the cool thing is with online now, like there are so many people out there. So even if they're not up for sharing, you can look and just follow someone along that is sharing and maybe feel a connection there or, kind of gain a friendship even behind the scenes or things. But yeah, I felt the same when I opened up like about infertility and what we were going through. I all of a sudden went from feeling like, "Oh, okay, this is overwhelming," to, "Oh my gosh, there's a whole army of people here." Like, I feel so grateful. I just felt so loved and, I might not have shared all the things in the moment or why they were happening and stuff, but looking back, I feel so grateful for that support that, I wouldn't have had. So, but yeah, it's
And now
different for everyone.
Now you're providing it for other people, which is fantastic.
Oh.
That's a choice that you made because you could have just said, "Okay, I thank you very much for the support, what I've found, and I feel better." But I think, I do applaud you for taking taking your journey to
Oh.
making a space for other people. Because you're gonna get when you start getting those inboxes from random people that say, "Hey, I just found your podcast, and I had the exact same scenario as you." And I'm glad that you talked about it because I haven't been able to find my voice in it yet.
Mm. Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
always
yeah.
the best that when I've received messages like that, like,
Oh.
it's like, okay, then that's why I'm putting myself out there. It's not easy, this is not
Right?
normal influencer kind of, you know, beauty product and look
Oh
at my
my
face
god.
and my face regimen and, like, I'm doing it, you could do it too. It's like no one is like, "I'm
Right?
fertile, look, you can do it too." Like, it's not that same thing, you know? This is a lot
Totally.
more vulnerable to letting people into your anatomy and your reproductive system,
Oh, yeah,
your
big
mental.
time.
It's huge,
It
but
is.
we're
Yeah.
there. We're there for you.
Oh, yes, we
Congrats on
are.
you. Congrats on everything you've done.
Oh, thank you so much. You too, Victoria. And you're right. It's not easy. It pushes me out of my comfort zone all the time. Like literally every time I get off a podcast, I have the biggest sweat rings because I am just so anxious and nervous the whole time. But every time I'm just so grateful for so many amazing people willing to share their story like you. Thank you so, so much. And I would encourage everyone to go check out your podcast. I listened to a few episodes and it was just beautiful. And as if people's listening today, you just have a really amazing way with words and how to put things into perspective. And it's a really amazing talent you have.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy I was.
Oh, oh, is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, let's keep rocking, sisters. We are resilient. We are resilient, and if you want it, and if you get to a place where you can be okay with it not looking exactly the way you planned.
Mhm.
Motherhood is still available to you, and you'll be an
Oh,
excellent one.
amen to that. Oh, thank you so much, Victoria. If people wanna follow along your adventures or
Yeah.
check out your podcast, what is it called?
Called New Mommy at 40 podcast. It is available on all your podcast listening, streaming options, and the website is www.newmommyat40, that's the number 40.com.
Amazing, and I'll make sure to link everything below as well. Thank you so much, Victoria, appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us here at the Infertility Club. Don't forget, you got this. For more hope, support, and positivity, watch this next video.